We got some breaking news for you Vikings fans as Carson Wentz was officially named the starter for the Thursday matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Just going to get this off my chest here first. I completely disagree with this move. I think they should have went to Max Brosmer. Obviously, since JJ McCarthy clearly isn't 100% healthy just yet, so I completely disagree with it. But I'll give you guys my thoughts here in a second. But it was Tom Pelissero. He tweeted this out saying Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell says the team put J.J. McCarthy, dealing with an ankle injury, through an on-field workout this morning. And while the team is encouraged, quote was, he's just not there on a short week. Carson Wentz starts again. Max Brosmer backs him up, and McCarthy will be the emergency third quarterback. But he also tweeted this out, which I thought was interesting. Kevin O'Connell says if there was a game this Sunday, J.J. McCarthy might have a chance to go. That would seem to put him on track to be available to start Week 9 against the Lions. Which, if J.J. McCarthy, if for whatever reason this guy is not starting Week 9 against the Lions, I'm going to blow a casket. I am going to be absolutely furious just because, one, the Vikings have been just kind of lying about this J.J. McCarthy injury. Either it's way too serious or way more serious than we thought, or J.J. is just clearly not there as a starting quarterback. Like, clearly they have no faith in him executing any sort of a game plan. But back to this Carson Wentz decision. I completely disagree with this. Just going to get this out there. Wentz was so bad against the Philadelphia Eagles. You go back and watch the all-22 version from the quarterback's angle, he was just missing wide open touchdowns, like the C.J. Ham throw. He's got C.J. Ham wide open in the flat with a lead blocker. Wentz pisses down his leg, throws the ball into the dirt, intentional grounding. You're backed up 3rd and 18. You're not starting. The Jordan Addison throw when he caught it on the right sideline, first drive of the game. That was a walk-in blown coverage touchdown for Jordan Addison. He throws it about 7 yards behind him. Addison's looking for the ball here, has to turn around, make a diving catch, and those were like the viral plays we saw, but it was even just not even giving Justin Jefferson a chance whatsoever in the fourth quarter. He was targeting him, but he was throwing the ball 3 yards away from him. Like, I remember when, with Kirk Cousins, with Sam Darnold, even when Justin Jefferson is covered, he's still open. Get him more chances. He was just absolutely horrible against Philly. And I'll get to this. Why not start Max Brosmer? Like, I understand he is a UDFA. He has never played a snap of regular season football. But what upside does Carson Wentz bring? Like, first off, I don't even know if Carson Wentz gives you a better chance to win this week compared to Max Brosmer. Like, let's just say Wentz goes out there, he is 250-2, and maybe he looks good because Carson Wentz, he is a very, polarizing player. He'll have some, great plays here and there, but majority of the time, if he's throwing the ball 42 times a game like he did the last week, he'll have about 9 to 10 plays where you're just sitting there saying, how the hell is this man a starting quarterback? But let's just say Max Brosmer went out there against the Los Angeles Chargers, and he threw for 250-2. I would much rather have the conversation heading in the next week against the Lions, who should start, Brosmer or JJ, because those are both young quarterbacks, guys that can develop into a franchise guy. We know what Carson Wentz is. He doesn't bring any upside. So I just completely disagree with this move. And also, he will never win you a big game. This is a big game on Thursday. You are 3-3. You're going against the Chargers team led by Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. You are not going to be able to walk into that building with poor quarterback play. Now, maybe KOC, if he's staying committed to the run, Jordan Mason is getting it going. Like, the run game and the defense can go win you that game. But if this game script and this game flow requires you to have your quarterback make big-time throw after big-time throw after big-time throw, Carson Wentz is not going to do it. But back to JJ. If JJ doesn't start week 9, we officially have major issues. Like, officially. Because then I'm thinking in my head, like, man, does KOC really just not trust this guy? Like, does he not even want to develop him? Or is this, injury clearly way more serious than it was? It was initially reported from the jump. This was a 2 to 4 week injury. Okay? So then he wasn't out there after the fourth week. JJ gets a second opinion. They're saying it's a 6-week injury. So week 9, that would be 7 to 8 weeks removed from week 2 against the Atlanta Falcons. If JJ is not starting week 9, we officially have problems. And then everything KOC's been saying in his press conferences over the last couple of months, like, he's been just lying. Like, just flat out lying to the media and to the fans. So if JJ doesn't start week 9, we officially got issues. But let me get you guys' thoughts on this. Maybe you guys disagree with me. Maybe you think Wentz, should be the starter for whatever reason. Drop that down below in the comment section. Give me one good reason why Carson Wentz should start against the Chargers this Thursday. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, the only reason I can see, why Kevin O'Connell made this move is, one, the Vikings believe the season isn't lost. And I also don't believe the season is lost. Like, the people who are saying, I see it on social media, on Twitter, in the comment section all the time, where it's like, oh, the Vikings, this season's over. Might as well start developing young quarterbacks. You are a 3-3 football team. You can turn that around instantly. Now, you look at the schedule, it's a gauntlet. Like, I can hear the argument why you would think the season is lost, but as it stands right now, it is not completely lost yet. So if you don't think the season is lost and you still think Carson Wentz gives them the best chance to win, then yes, I can hear you out, but also I disagree with that last part. I don't think Carson Wentz gives you the best chance to win. He lost you that game against the Philadelphia Eagles. There was probably 45 quarterbacks on the planet right now that could have won that football game. Like the Eagles, Jalen Hurts was fantastic. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, they were cooking you guys. You just can't go back to Wentz, and that's what the Vikings decided to do. So I just disagree with this move. And honestly, if we're just looking back at this offseason, it's been horrible for the Vikings. Like Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, Javon Hargrave only played 50 snaps of, I think it was like 79 last week defensively. He was getting out-repped by Jalen Redmond. Jalen Redmond also had 20 more snaps than him. Jonathan Allen, he had a good game, but for majority of the year, he's been pretty poor. Like all these free agent signings you made were the reason why you brought those guys in was because you didn't pay Sam Darnold. Well, those guys you brought in haven't been living up even close to the contracts you gave them. And this is my biggest gripe about the offseason. It's not even about letting Sam Darnold walk, letting Daniel Jones walk. My biggest gripe with this Vikings offseason was why did they not value a backup quarterback? You had J.J. McCarthy, 22 years old, coming off a torn meniscus. Why did you not bring in a backup quarterback like a Joe Flacco who's playing good football, like a Jacoby Brissett even who's playing good football over the last 2 weeks? And I can already see it. Well, Patrick, the comp pick formula. Comp pick my ass. You have a young quarterback who needs a veteran in that room, and you just decided, oh, we're going to play the comp pick game. Oh, but we'll trade for Sam Howell on draft night. And then we'll see Sam Howell in the preseason. We don't like what we see, and then we'll go trade for Carson Wentz to be the backup. Like, that process is so bad. Like, even if Wentz would have worked out and he would have been a good backup quarterback which he really hasn't, sure. Like, maybe you can make the argument that, the result was good, but still the process was poor. That you were valuing a comp pick as the reason why you didn't want to go bring in a Joe Flacco, a Jacoby Brissett, because also Flacco wasn't signed for, majority of this offseason. You could brought him in at any time. A Gardner Minshew even. But they didn't do that because they wanted to play the comp pick formula. And also these two guys, we can just call it like it is. This looks like a horrible mistake. A horrible mistake. Sam Darnold looks better than he did in Seattle than he did the previous season in Minnesota. Daniel Jones, do you guys know the Colts offense has been historically great this year? Historically great. They are averaging the most points per drive over the last 25 seasons. They're averaging more points per drive than the 2007 Patriots with Brady and Moss, than the 2018 Chiefs when they were one of the best offenses of all time, at Peyton Manning year back with the Denver Broncos when he won MVP. Like, I just don't understand this. And the one thing I don't understand is that KOC didn't want Sam Darnold back. Like, the fact that he saw Sam Darnold in his offense win you 14 games, throw for 35 touchdowns, and he didn't say to the front office, guys, do whatever you can to bring him back. Even if we have to pay a little more than we want, even if it'll limit our free agents spending on some defensive tackles and some interior offensive linemen, we can make this work. Because the one thing that's also driving me crazy, and listen, I'm not saying most Vikings fans were okay with letting Darnold walk after the last 2 weeks. But Sam Darnold, what if he had another year learning the playbook? What if he had another year building that connection with Justin Jefferson? Like, what if his late season collapse was just because that was his first time playing real big boy football in the NFL? Where it was a Week 18 game, taking on the Lions for the number 1 seed. That's a big time spot. Like, necessarily, like, it kind of felt like Darnold's, like, not like rookie year, obviously, but his first year being a legit guy. So I just can't believe KOC, and maybe it was an ego thing with them. Because I'm sure KO probably told Kwesi where it's like, hey, I can get anybody to have that. I could get Carson Wentz to have that performance. You can't. Like, the quarterback position is the most important one of all sports. And the fact that they just let Sam Darnold go for I mean, Darnold signed a 3-year, $100 million contract with only about $37 million guaranteed. You could have made that work. You didn't need to go get Javon Hargrave for another $40 million. You didn't need to go get, Ryan Kelly for another 12. Like, I just, it is just looking bad. Like, it is just looking bad. And listen, I'm not saying the Vikings also could have won a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, but man, you would have been a whole lot better. And also, let's just say you brought Darnold back for a year or two. You could just go the Green Bay Packers route, where you could just say, hey, JJ, we'll give you another year. Keep on developing. Keep on working behind the scenes. Get, fully healthy from that torn meniscus. I'm just stunned. Like, I'm stunned we are in the position we are right now. So we'll talk about more injury news here in a second. But before we do so, I want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, that being Prize Picks. Now, if you guys download the Prize Picks app today, put in that promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. And Prize Picks has a brand new feature called Stacks, meaning you can pick up to the same player 3 times in the same lineup. So, for example, if you want to take more on Justin Jefferson's receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. They also have another brand new feature called the Feed tab. You guys can follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app, copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, celebrity, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new Feed tab on Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Massive shout out to the Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, we got to get some positivity here on today's show, a lot of negativity, but some good news. The Vikings are designating running back Aaron Jones to return from injured reserve, which is obviously good to have him back. I still think no matter what, Jordan Mason will be the lead tailback, even once Aaron Jones returns, but still having him in the blitz pickup, having him in the pass-catching game, just having another safety net option will be nice because, honestly, the running backs outside of Jordan Mason right now haven't been good enough. Anytime the Vikings run the ball without Jordan Mason, it just hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't been positive plays, and KOC did say, there is a chance he plays Thursday. He was honestly giving Aaron Jones a lot of credit, saying, hey, he doesn't really need, obviously everybody needs practice, but he doesn't need practice because he is a veteran. He knows the playbook like the back of his hand. So if he's fully out or fully ready to go, I do expect him to be active for the Thursday game against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'll tell you what, no more Xavier Scott touches. Xavier Scott was a cool preseason story. This guy's clearly not ready to be an NFL, starting caliber running back in the NFL regular season. So no more Xavier Scott touches. That would be fantastic. And, in the end, you need to get downhill against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers defense, for being led by Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter, they haven't been the same against the run, as especially close to what they were the previous year, because they were up with us, the Minnesota Vikings, as one of the best rushing offenses or defenses in the league, and that hasn't been the case this season. Teams are running for 5.1 yards per clip on them. That's 28th in the league. They are averaging almost 25 rushes a game. That's 11th in the league. Opponent rush yards per game, 123.6. So clearly teams are finding success running the ball against the Chargers. And also, they've been gashed by some of the top running backs in the league over the last 3 weeks. This is ridiculous. Jonathan Taylor running for 6 yards a carry. He also had 3 touchdowns on the ground last week. Devon Achane going for 16 carries, 128 yards, 8 yards a clip. And then Bill Krosky-Merritt, 14 carries, 111 yards, 7.9 yards a clip. There's really no excuse to not get Jordan Mason the ball and just stay committed to getting Jordan Mason the ball. It doesn't matter who is in that quarterback, whether that's, JJ, Brosmer, Wentz, get 27 the football. You want to make that quarterback's life a whole lot easier. That starts with number 27. He's a physical, bruising back. I still think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. Kevin O'Connell, please hit this guy the football, because if you don't, probably going to lose this game if you can't run the ball. The Vikings are going to have to almost play a perfect game, in all other aspects besides the passing game, because I really don't have any faith in Carson Wentz at this point. The film was that bad. Normally it's a little cliche. I think it was Bill Parcells who said it was when you have a really good game, the film is always not as good as you think it is. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, when you have a bad game, the film is always not as bad as it really is. For Carson Wentz this past Sunday, it was way worse. Way, way worse. Just missing wide open receivers. Missing wide open touchdowns. So if you want to help him out, That's the guy to do so, number 27. So let me ask you guys this. Over-under, 72.5 rush yards for Jordan Mason on Thursday. If the Vikings want to win this football game, this better be a for sure over. But you guys let me know. Give me an O for over. Give me U for under if you're going to take Jordan Mason's 72.5 rush yards this Thursday.